Looking at cans from the marina. Looking at cans from the marina. The marina at Cairns. Our leaving day from Cairns, we killed 3.5 hours inside the outstanding aquarium.
Good. Oh yeah, you want dumb mother? Oh, okay. I don't get that. Now go down there, you can see the top of it. It's terrifying. You may get the top, but not all the top. Lobsters have big, they're painted.
I need cards. Look at this. It seems weird to live upside down.
Those other ones are more like scarf.
I'm listening to the Tubi thing.
That thing could kill you in a minute. They like kids, I was told. If they break out of this tank, we're in big trouble. Baby crocodile. I love it. Don't you guys love them?
They're cute.
Aren't they cute? Little bellies, little feet. They're nice. You know what I mean? They don't mean to be mean or anything. They just are. If we try to attack them, they have to defend themselves. And then look up here. There's another one right there. Look at that dude.
You're gonna have coming out of them.
She's trying to expel it.
Oh, she's wrapping it around in the coral.
There it is. An egg. What?
Right there.
Watch, let me know if you see one.
Sound like it's gonna
Not that they eat people, not that the movies scare you, not that they're out to get you, for valid reasons. And that happens every day in my shark shows on there. Twice a day, I ask customers the same thing on the side. Never had a great white shark, keep the oven passing. It's not going out to get wet after this, you get an idea or get there and get it out. I'll try to talk to 40% of all sharks on the planet lay eggs like a chicken. 60% of sharks have live babies. I had customers sitting here all day today waiting for birds in the pack that finally had to leave because their plane was leaving.
We are waking up in Sydney, Australia. This is the view from the Mercure Hotel in downtown Sydney. It is pretty darn good. Let's zoom in on that tower in the distance. Hopefully others in this hotel are having the same spectacular view. I believe that's the Sky Tower. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Anyway, this is the scene. Today is Tuesday. We go home on Thursday.
King's Cross, then we go through Rushcutters Bay, Double Bay, Rose Bay, Watson's Bay, pretty much alongside of the water through our very exclusive suburbs, and we will make it all the way to the Gap, which is the only entry into Sydney Harbour. So all the ships which do come into Sydney Harbour in the past used to be the container ships. Now it's the sailing boats, and of course then finally started again the cruise liners. And they all have to go through the same passage, because that's the only way how to get into Sydney Harbour. We're gonna see that, and we're gonna stop at Bondi Beach, and after Bondi Beach we'll be heading through the Paddington Bank to the city, towards the Sydney Opera House, where we have the guided tour. This is the centre station, which is around us, and so you get the bus up here. Then you have, if you went through the corridor here on the right hand side through the tunnel, that would bring you to the train plan. Finished with basic education after the year 12, and so
Oh gosh, all your papers.
I'll hold it on to where they're passing on two guys there. So we're kind of heading through to Chinatown, guys. This is actually very good that we are going this way, because you can find some places, in case you'll be coming back to the hotel, where you can actually eat something. And then I'll put you some more places in the city, like a food courts that you can get for a quick meal, so you don't lose your time in the restaurant. But Chinatown is very busy. This is actually not the original site of the Chinatown, when we had the Chinese people arriving here with the gold rush in 1850s. You go from the side street in here, that goes through the vegetable and fruit markets, and then you make it towards the souvenirs parts. Then in front of us there's a tram line. We got two lines in here in this city. This is the first one which they opened years ago, and just most recently the one which is running on the George Street. That's the one which I mentioned to you. That's the world's probably the slowest tram line. And that's just because they pick up the passengers and then they went, and it takes time for them to process through the intersection. Now, I'll mention to you that Sydney has been established in 1788. That was when the first settlers arrived in here. We've talked about that kept the settlement a little bit further. That's where I'm going to show you where. That's in the rocks, where the oldest part of the city is. This part of the city, it's more like an entertainment quarter of the city. And there's a beautiful passage to walk through. From the hotel, we're going to walk through the Darling Harbour together then. The building here on our right hand side, plus other two buildings following, that's part of the International Congress Centre. Just recently remodeled, redesigned. And when we get on the flyer in here, you'll be able to see a little bit of the Darling Harbour. If you look to the right hand side first, That's actually towards the Pettis Markets, and passing the Pettis Markets is bringing you all the way down here to Darling Harbour. And then when you have a look at the left, that's you see the W Hotel over there. That's just a brand new building, not finished as yet, but that will bring you all the way down to the wharf, to the water. And just behind those walls on the left-hand side, that's the Chinese Gardens of Friendship. And yet again, to the right-hand side, the markets. You see the Market City sign over there. So that's quite a big building. And what we do in just a couple of minutes, or a few minutes, we'll be stopping at the King Street Wharf, and I'd like to show you where we are gonna possibly meet then if you are meeting us at the wharf. And then we're gonna walk together towards the ferry. Oh, I mean towards the cruise. The world's slowest tram, and that will bring you close to the hotel as well. And I'll explain to you. I'm gonna highlight it on the map that you know how to catch the tram. Now the tram, unlike in Sydney, unlike in Melbourne, in Sydney you have to pay for the tram. And if you have a credit card with a little chip there, that's how you pay for that. There are machines inside of the bus, or inside of the tram, or inside of the ferry. You tap on that machine, just put it next to it, and don't forget you need to tap off when you're leaving. So they charge you only for the parts which you've travelled, Norris and koalas and so on. So I think there's really no big need for you to get that way. But if somebody is interested in the Maritime Museum, that's right across of the water, and I'm going to point it out to you as soon as we turn left in here. That's the building in front of us, the white building on the other side of the harbour. You can see the warship there. That's part of the museum, which you actually can enter if you get the tickets to visit the museum. I think you can actually purchase a separate ticket to see the warship by itself only. I'm not sure after the COVID if they have reopened the submarine. There's a submarine right behind there. And the bridge there, if you didn't notice it, that's a pedestrian bridge, which is slightly older actually than the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which we'll be crossing tomorrow. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to get off for probably the next 10 minutes roughly. And we're going to get down to the water so you can get the nice pictures, and then we're going to get back on the bus. So don't run too far. So I would say about 9 o'clock we should be actually boarding the bus up.
This is the Sydney Harbour, I guess. Darlington Harbour says. This couple has really recommitted themselves to the future.
We are, and I can't see the line here, so I'm trying to say to the bus. And I'll let you know what time I have to have a look at the itinerary. I'm not going to search through the phone.
Holly is thinking about herself.
Number 5.
Who is she?
Sort of like a part of the city or part of the harbour where the ships did come from the farms. When you imagine like the early stages of the colony, pretty much the farming was done on the harbour or alongside of the shores of the Sydney harbour, just because that was easy to bring the produce to the centre of the city. And the bridge behind you guys, you can see some cyclists just crossing the bridge. That's a pedestrian bridge now. They would load it on the horse carriage, they would cross the bridge at the next restaurant. So that's roughly about Darling Harbour. We called the line Hungry Mile, and the place was called Hungry Mile because the people were pretty much lining up just to get something to eat, just pretty much to get the jobs to feed the family, let's put it that way. And they thought once they redeveloped the Darling Harbour, they thought this is not really the best name, it doesn't sell that much, or it doesn't sell that well. So what they had done, they renamed it, and they named it Barangaroo. And there was a wife to Bennelong, and Bennelong Point is where, and the construction which is going on in here, they're building the underground metro station. So you could actually come in here on the fast train or the underground train. up, and absolutely beautiful, beautiful walkway alongside of the water. Once everything is connected, it's going to be very, very nice to stroll through. And just to get back to Bennelong. Bennelong is Aborigines guy who actually kind of resisted to the white settlers when they arrived in here with language barriers and translated. The building on the right hand side, the ugly one, you see it there? That's the oldest residential high-rising building, and the advantage when you live in there, in that building. Now we're gonna pass by a very nice pub. Should it happen that you hear in the rocks, because we are just entering the oldest part of the city. In fact, by the chance, if you be walking through the Barangaroo, passing this hotel on the right hand side, that's actually connecting to the water there, through the park, through the hill there. There's actually a lift. You don't have to walk all around the entire park there, the Barangaroo Park. Now, passing by the pub on the left-hand side, and they were trying to figure out what happened to their brandy. In fact, what they realized, small holes being drilled on the bottom of the barrel, so the soldiers go through there. Just this church in here, and the pub on the corner over there, it's built with the sandstone, and the sandstone comes from this tunnel which is going through. That's the Argyle Cut, and that was to bypass the dangerous slumps in the rocks. I'll talk a little bit more about the rocks tomorrow, because if you are coming for the crossing of the bridge, which I think it's a nice thing to do because it's going to be a nice day, I'm going to walk through the rocks with you. And I'm going to tell a little bit of the stories about the rocks and the gangs which did operate in here and so on. A little bit of the dark side of the rocks. And we'll be walking through some of the lanes. Like if you have a look at the lane on the left-hand side where those 2-3 people now are, the Suez Channel, we're going to walk through that one tomorrow as well. The building to, like sort of the concrete building, that's a hotel, that's a Four Seasons, and oldest street in the city. Because as we left Rocks towards the CBD, there's the world's slowest tram. So that's just on the George Street, and this tram would bring you very close to the hotel. It doesn't bring you all the way to the hotel. It brings you to the bottom of the CBD, the Centre Business District, with the north parts of the city. And you can actually walk alongside on the George Street there as well. Now we're on the Bridge Street, and that's named after a little bridge which was crossing the next street we'll be just crossing through. And that's Pitt Street. That was the reason why they selected this part of the... That's the only original part of the ship series. Which was leaving the ship, bringing the convicts in here. And when you look at the corner tree in here, perfect that we just stopped in here. It used to be 2 trees. You see the little plaque in here, just next to those plants in here, yeah. And that's where the second tree used to be. Those 2 trees were planted by Queen Elizabeth II and her husband Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, in 1954. When it's probably 3-4 years ago when I noticed that the tree is gone actually. The one which is still standing in there, that was the one which was planted by the Prince Philip.
It's not growing very straight.
This used to be the treasury, so they had all the gold and money stored in here in a very deep vault. And then it became a hotel. They've risen the floors up, and it's very popular by American presidents to stay in this one because it's very easy to escape to the airport from here, and they can use those bunkers. They can use those walls as bunkers. The building on the left, looking like a castle, that's the Conservatorium of Music, and the cat, that was his favorite cat, which sailed around Australia with him as well. This very simple but very proud building, there's a Parliament of New South Wales. And that's one of the original wings of the hospital which was built by Governor Macquarie. This wall here, that's a replica of Il Porcellino from Florence. Second to last popes, I should say. The best thing in here at the St Mary's Cathedral College accommodation, just behind the college there, there's accommodation there. They'll be remodeling this part of the grassy field in here, from what I did learn. There's a car park underneath for the city cars or for the people that come in here.
Yeah.
If we kept going straight, that would bring us on the bridge. Or in a tunnel. There's a tunnel which pretty much to get to the north, you get across the bridge, which we'll be doing tomorrow. If you can recognize some of the celebrities, they enjoy the passing there. They have their pictures on the wall there. So quite a many up there, including Russell Crowe, prime ministers and so on. We're a little bit high there, but when you have a look at the back part of that, there are some more Ernst Hemingway and so on. They are operating in here since 1945. It used to be originally a wagon. This is now in a museum down in Darling Harbour, and they do the meat pies, the savoury pies. And they come and go. You never know what you see in here when you get to Woolloomooloo.
I think you took my mask.
Their base is on Garden Island, which is not. Soon we're going to get through King's Cross, and King's Cross, as I mentioned to you, is sort of like a red light district of the city. And
Very cool.
on the weekends in this place they have the markets as well. Markets are very popular in here. You probably would end up at the King's Cross. Many of the bars, clubs and so on were open in here until about it probably might be in 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when the government or the local government decided that they're going to close those pubs and nightclubs earlier than in the early hours, so they allow them to operate until 3 o'clock in the morning, but they wouldn't let we are heading towards the base. We'll be now copying the Sydney Harbour. Guys, if you like to walk around, very prestige race, which is happening on the Boxing Day, that's 26th of December. They take up luxury silver service throughout the flight, and the ticket, apparently at that time, converting to their money, it would cost of 1 year's savings to buy the ticket. So that's Rushcutters Bay. So have a look at the movie when they talk about that. The white building just hiding behind it. And we're going to come up here on the top of the hill that you can get off the bus and do some of the beautiful pictures of the Sydney Harbour.
Just do a drive-through once today.
Yeah, if you could, then. Yeah. Now he asked me if I wanted to buy a house. That would be actually in here in the Watsons Bay. That's my favourite place. It's got a very nice beach, Camp Cove. This is where they actually camped over the night when they sent a couple of ships to explore Sydney Harbour. Upon the arrival to Botany Bay. Botany Bay, we really couldn't see much because it was dark last night, but Sydney Airport.
Yeah, Doug McAllister. Before we leave, we're going to get videotape one more time of Doug.
It is beautiful.
If they there's a very slight chance this will arrive. Sydney Harbour, that's one to your left hand side and you see the entry. That's the Hawkesbury River. And in fact the Hawkesbury River's got two names in two different parts or sections of the river. The closer to the west it's called Nappin River, and the closer to the ocean it's called the Hawkesbury River. No, it's been named by somebody else somewhere. It's a peninsula, so you can drive in there, but also
This is kind of neat. We had this walkway down through this spectacular viewing area. And pretty neat. Pretty darn neat. Very windy today. I think the group has really enjoyed this stop. We were ahead of schedule, and just a remarkable spot. For this caption, a mouthful. And that's called the Sydney Lighthouse.
No, Macquarie.
The Macquarie Lighthouse.
There's a sign to the right, honey.
The governor that built it.
I'm sorry.
Try to keep up, Paul.
Well, I think that's just.
And his wife designs what they'll be building. They had a big help of Francis Greenaway. He arrived in here as a convict architect. Now, how do you get the architect to work for you for free as a convict? You check the accounts. He didn't pay the taxes properly. So he was shipped in here.
This is Bundy Beach. There's the homes that live on Bundy Beach.
What they built a new park in there. if you are around that area, it's beautiful to walk around in there because you got sort of like the views of the harbour. Don't forget, you're gonna get great views of the harbour.
Okay, it's just not far away from the bathroom. So come down there.
We come back out to San.
No, we're going down here.
No,
and
but when
starting
we're
from
done,
the bottom.
when we're done, we'll come back here. Come back anytime.
They come from far and wide to see the famous Sydney Opera House. The Gracelander Group is going on a special. This is the scene where you can just party here at the house. This is it. Famous Opera House. These people have come to visit the famous Opera House. They are a proud, loving family.
Oh, yeah.
They love each other and they love visiting this country. But they'll never be more proud.
Modi.
But you are more proud of what country? Where is your country?
India. India, Modi.
That's right. I love it. I love it.
India.
Now you should come to USA.
You're gonna have a look at the bags that we have it on the one number there.
Because we're part of the challenge upstairs, we have to operate vertically. So we need to use what's above the stage.
Evelyn, those sunglasses become you.
You're on the wrong side. That was a lot easier than steep and straight. Yeah.
Absorb sound. You find that same wood has been used on the chair in front of you. Reflecting sound. And that's a click. This first big venue reverberates back in 2 seconds. Prior to this, transparent donut, 12 of those that acted like the false ceiling. Did the same thing, but they did it down. If you have a big orchestra, you need to add levels or tiers on the stage. Different levels. Right now, press
How many pipes in the organ?
the grand organ. 110 pipes across the front. What you can't see, further 10,000 more pipes.
Oh my goodness.
What? In the back room, 10,000. Something you could all fit in. Size of my pinky. Another well-known artist in the millennium will know Mr. Kanye West. Okay. So where you are sitting up there, as cheap as $35. So great concerts in here, kids shows and performances are here as well. Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger on the concert stage here. Straight out. Door past that concrete. There we are. We call this space.
This is the Queen Victoria building. I've been told about it by Royce Dively and his wife in Lamoni. They said, cut it out, Jack.
Town is the date and time underneath it around the world. Wow, and the building just keeps going. And there's another level upstairs at the other end. The date's wrong, I'm sorry. You got a clock that always has 31 days in a month. They got to find a way to get ready to go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
On your mark.
The top one's going to move in just 3 seconds.
Here it goes. I'm going to advance 1 minute. It moves. It's up for a minute. It's the 31st and it's really the 1st, so they got to figure that out. Got the day right. 12 minutes, so that's 12, 14. There. That way.
I don't know if I believe you. Tell me when we can walk. Young people are giving back to their community. They are creating a mural on this wall that has taken them several days. The artist who designed this is sitting there on the top right scaffold with the beard. This was his creation. This was his design. He's shaking and laughing his head. Sir, do I speak the truth or did somebody else design this? I'm sorry to embarrass you, sir. Sorry. She did it. Oh, the name is in the corner. Okay. We are waiting to take our dinner cruise out into the Sydney Harbor. The big race is over. Crowds all over the wharf. And a deluge has come down. Rainstorm. And there's a good feeling. Will it subside by the time we're scheduled to go out? Good looking rain, man. Good looking rain. Elsie and Elaine, they have a different relationship now. They've lived together for almost 3 weeks. They've learned the ins and outs of each other. And it's a good feeling. It's a good thing to have a good friend. That's what I'm talking about, Mark. Yeah. This is the next to the last night for the Gracelanders going down under trip. And an event that I've been talking and thinking about for 2 years. This event, the Sunset Cruise, many have signed on for it. Some had not originally. Let the record show that Raleigh was the first and Beth to down the wine. I love it. It's free tonight. It's part of the price. This is the scene. This is what it looked like. This is how everybody loved each other and cared for each other. We've grown together as a family. I'll be giving an emotional speech tomorrow night at the goodbye dinner. But here we go. Cruise is underway. I think we're paying attention to our food more than we are the actual cruise itself. There's the bridge that we'll be on tomorrow. We're going to walk the bridge tomorrow. Discovered you could walk outside of the glass, and this is what I discovered. We're going under the bridge. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool.
Okay, great.
No, it doesn't.
Wow. Now to get the postcard, this is it. Right here.
What do you think?
It's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful sights. Iconic.
From England, and then if they did
Sydney Opera House, I've heard about my whole life, and there it is, right in front of
now
us.
they're fed very well.
I think it's amazing. I think everything I've seen today with news wherever I am in Australia is wonderful. I've had a wonderful day, and the weather has been gorgeous, and the people have been wonderful. It's been fun.
Oh, sure.
And as the sun slowly fades onto the horizon, one last look at the famous Sydney Harbor and the Sydney Harbor Bridge. The Gracelanders will be walking the pedestrian walk tomorrow.
Look, I think we're living in a most beautiful environment in the world. It's like Sydney is a beautiful harbor. It's like a created piece of art, and then I'm cruising every day on Sydney Harbor, enjoying myself. It's like a passion about the cruising, enjoying beautiful moments, beautiful time with the passengers. I think I'm alright. I think I'm alright.
So it's the last day of a long journey. The Gracelander Down Under group is making its way to the area called the Rocks. We're making our way to the Rocks area, and then we will take our time going across the Sydney Bridge. It's a glorious day, a little bit nippy in the air, but it feels good. A good night's sleep has rejuvenated this group, and many of them have said this has been a good time. We make our way down the street and we wonder, where did all the time go? It seems like just 2 years ago that we arrived in Auckland.
That represents actually the beginning of the colony. It started as a penal colony, so you see convict in the chains, then you have the soldier, and then you have the free settlers. So walk around that, and then we're gonna walk this way, and I'll talk to you.
Why am I filming this?
Pretty much a noise. What they're doing, they're refurbishing one of the old buildings. It's a concrete building that was actually built in 1970s. They call it the brutal era, or brutal era of sort of like a building design, because everything was made at that time with the concrete. And that was actually built as social housing. And now the social housing, they moved those people to a different area, and they're remodeling the building to sort of like a very expensive apartment building. And it's called Sirius. That's after the first ship, or the first the leading ship which arrived in here with the first fleet. And so that's why we're getting all these noise in there. They're actually debating what they're gonna do with that, because it's kind of like sort of heritage protected, but not really fully protected. So they thought, are we gonna knock it down, or are we gonna keep it? Rocks was quite a dense area, and there were quite a many high-rising buildings. And when you imagine just these bricks in here, that would be your backyard. This would be probably dunning, that's toilet. And all the washing will be done here in the backyard. So probably not just washing clothing, but also personal washing. And if you are interested, we can walk those few stairs up, and that gives you the idea of what the homes used to look like. Back then, if you say, somebody of you might see the frame over there, that high those buildings were. And you will see up there very small rooms. That's really the real rooms, what it used to look like. And they did upsize the furniture to sort of give you the idea how dense was it. In one room, there would be usually one family living in that. So not very pleasant living, and also not much of the hygiene, because all the dirt, all the rubbish was just dumped on the street, and then when it rained, it was washed up into the Sydney Harbour. So you can imagine the smell of the area in here. Yeah. The historical part of the city, that was people they did pay very little rent to build.
And most of us growing up,
What do you want, right? Back 1900.
Deja vu.
Showing you with the frame line how tall those buildings would be. Barracks built at his time as well. So here's that one more street what I want to show you before we get back on our trek towards the bridge. And then we're going to go up the hill and make it on one of these stairs.
Everybody's getting a picture of the Suez Canal, which we're told used to be the sewage canal. Of course, Beth Maroff is documenting every inch of this trip. We have not missed a beat. Tell us that the sewage came down this street. I don't believe it, but that's what we've been told. The steps that Mark alluded to. Tough, long, grueling. This is not a competition. Jack Knapp.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling?
I'm going to get to the top before you do.
No, you're not, because I'm going to...
I heard you say this is a competition.
Oh, I did not.
You all right?
Together we're here. Who knows when we'll be together again. There's the lift we're gonna take. We're all together, we're here. Who knows when. Today it's all about the bridge. It's all about, it's noisy up here. It's very noisy up here. There's Fred and Myra. Beloved couple. Love each other, cherish each other. That's right, sister. We can do this. There's the scene outside. There's the Opera House. There's the harbor. A shot from the Sydney Bridge. One of the many cruise ships that are here in the Sydney Harbor. Big, Titanic-sized vessel. I have reached the top of the Sydney Bridge. It's quite windy up here, but it's comfortable. The bridge count was more exaggerated. It was exaggerated. I didn't think it was that difficult at all. Took my time. This is the pan shot left to right of Sydney, the harbor, and then downtown.
A lot more calm over here. Way calmer, yeah.
One last big event before tonight's goodbye dinner. Gracelander's Down Under. Love it. There's Doug. This is what it looks like driving across the Sydney Harbor Bridge. Normal traffic, normal people, normal cars. Coming in each direction. Let the record show.
I do, Mom. We're here at Nick's restaurant. This is the goodbye dinner. The records show that we had perfect weather. This is what it looked like in the Sydney Harbor as we embarked on our last dinner together.
My mother was saying
Dinner is over. Our last official function together. And the colors were phenomenal in the harbor. Sydney, Australia, 2023. Gracelander's going down under. I think it's 2022. But it felt like it wouldn't be till 2023, I'll tell you that. There's Nick's. The crowd is leaving.
Hi, Paul.
And this may be the second to the last time I videotape.
Sign of your room for the bags collection. You leave that inside, so you know you bring that on your own.
And so this is it. Thursday, November the 3rd, 2022. They came, they saw, they conquered. And like I said, they're tired.
You were crawling home.
But it's a good kind of tired. This is the last video log entry in the Paul Davis video to last a lifetime. Goodbye, my friends. I bid you adieu. 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 Adieu.
goodbye.